While there are differences, to be sure, economic shutdown is reminding a lot of families around the valley of the housing crisis a decade ago. That's because a lot of Southern Nevadans who've lost their jobs now fear they could lose their homes. There might be a way to get some help, and we sent News 3's Steve Wolford out there to look at that.
Part of the COVID-19 stimulus package included some options between lenders and borrowers like deferment or forbearance. But remember, they are different, and not all banks will handle them in the same way. The state's surging jobless numbers tell the story. Well over 200,000 Nevadans now unemployed. Many are under pressure to keep up with their mortgage payments with little or no income. Realtor Karen Smith says one option under federal guidelines to lenders, forbearance.
They might be telling you you can do a 3-month forbearance, but you would have to pay those 3 months back in a balloon payment at the end when you're doing your fourth payment.
That means, though, you could be hit with a big payment all at once, which is why Realtor Pam Junge says you might have another choice, deferment.
You could get possibly a 6-month deferment, but you want to make sure, are those payments going to actually be tacked on to the end of the loan? Because if that's the case, then you have to go through some sort of modification, which actually requires paperwork.
Junge says there were guidelines in the stimulus package to give banks some direction on ways to help borrowers, but each bank will likely work out the terms on a case-by-case basis for an option like deferment.
And then once you get the bank's terms, then get it in writing. And then more than likely, if you're going to get those payments extended to the back end of the loan, there's going to be some paperwork that's going to have to be signed in order to facilitate that.
Another possibility, a refi, but that will hinge on your household income.
A refi is an option if you have equity in your home. You still, though, have to have income coming in. So if you are laid off and not collecting any type of income, it's going to be hard to do a refi.
One other thing to understand, these options do not automatically take place with your mortgage. And regardless of what you decide to do, communicate with your bank, understand exactly what you're getting into, and above all, get it in writing. In Henderson, Steve Wolford, News 3.
MGM Resorts' earnings for the past quarter fell 29%. A huge hit attributed to business shutdowns in both the U.S. and China. Today, the company reported net revenue of about $2.3 billion in the first 3 months of 2020, down from the nearly $3.2 billion reported over the same period in 2019. The company says it has to spend about $270 million per month while its U.S. resorts stay closed. As part of his reopening plans, Governor Searchlight has said casinos will likely reopen in the third or fourth phase. Gaming revenues in Nevada will have to submit a reopening plan to state regulators at least 1 week before reopening. That is gaming locations, that is. Well, the world has come to know us as #Vegas Strong, and no doubt that resolve will be tested as the community climbs out of a deep economic hole. News 3's Kendall Kim spoke to Clark County Commissioner about what the desolate Las Vegas Strip means for our economy.
It's no secret here in Las Vegas we were hit hard by the 08-09 Great Recession. At least then, though, there were still cash registers ringing, employees still at work, and tourists still visiting here. Take a look, though, behind me. That is actually the Bellagio that you are seeing this afternoon, boarded up, an eerie sight to see, leaving many to wonder what will things look like when the doors are able to open back up. Unemployment numbers following the state's coronavirus-caused closures have crushed the numbers set during the Great Recession. An advanced report from the U.S. Department of Labor showing 45,000 initial filings in the state of Nevada this last week alone. That is an increase from the week before and more than 5 times as many initial weekly claims set during the worst week of the Great Recession, which was 8,900 in January 2009. Through the week ending of April 18th, more than 369,000 initial claims have been filed by Nevadans in the year 2020. That rate is higher than we've ever seen in our entire state history for a full calendar year. And again, in 2020, it's only April.
We're talking that this is worse because at that time, at least, we had some occupancy within the hotels. I'd rather open slow and methodical. I don't think that anybody wants to close a second time.
As the streets out here on the Las Vegas Strip remain quiet, only time will tell how we'll recover from this. Some optimism today from the analysts at Go Banking Rates. Their new study does acknowledge that Nevada may be one of the hardest hit states financially because of this pandemic across the entire country, but they also add that we are expected to be one of the quickest to recover, along with Colorado and Florida. We'll keep you posted. For now, though, reporting from the Las Vegas Strip, Kendall Kim.
One industry that we know will be expanding operations starting tomorrow is marijuana dispensaries. They will be allowed to offer curbside pickup along with home deliveries that they've been doing since the shutdown started.
News 3's Max Darrow explains how this step will provide much needed help for some Southern Nevada dispensaries.
Flower.
8.
The product is there at You'll Find Cannabis, but the people are not and have not been there for several weeks.
As challenging for cannabis as it is for all the businesses that are out there affected by COVID-19.
Inyo partner David Goldwater says the governor's move to allow cannabis curbside pickup should give the industry a much-needed spark if dispensaries play by the rules that mandate social distancing and sanitation measures.
We're very interested in following the rules, and we make sure that we try to keep everybody safe, keep our customers safe.
That's also a big concept on Cultivate Dispensary's Matt McClure's mind. Here on the sales floor at Cultivate Dispensary, it's a very different scene. The only people inside are the people fulfilling delivery orders back there, and then in a couple of short days, right here is where they'll be filling the curbside pickup orders, and outside, they're all going to be wearing masks and gloves.
We're well versed in terms of the CDC requirements and how to incorporate those into our operating plan. We'll be making sure that we're maintaining our 6 feet of distance separation, as well as continuing to utilize PPE.
County Commissioner Tick Sagerbloom says the governor's decision came at an important time and should help the region.
It's not a huge revenue source, but it is a revenue source. They've really been hurt doubly because they were closed, or at least limited operation, and they couldn't get a loan to cover their expenses. So this is really, really positive for the industry.
Goldwater and McClure remain positive their respective businesses will bloom again with the added help of curbside pickup, but Goldwater says he knows many others may wilt.
Not everybody's going to be guaranteed to stay alive in this business, and there's no federal bailouts for cannabis.
In Las Vegas, Max Darrow, News 3.